Today we're going to be rating the Capital One logo, and I have been waiting a long time to tell you everything I hate about this logo, and that's going to start right now. So Capital One is one of the largest financial institutions in the United States, and yet it has one of the worst brands in its sector. It baffles my mind how a company of their magnitude could have such a horrible logo. Like, I have seen local banks that have better branding, have better logos than Capital One does. So here's the Capital One logo, and as always, please let me know what you think in the comments. If you love it, tell me why you love it. I would love to hear. But I cannot stand this logo. Every time this logo comes on the TV, I just want to throw my TV out the window because my eyes are burning out of my head. But for the sake of all of you out there on the internet, I allowed my eyes to be burned while I made this video so that I could explain to you all of the mistakes that you need to avoid when making your own logo design. So let's start with just the icon, I guess you could say, itself. This red swoosh. How many times do I need to say it? Swooshes are not good. Please stop using swooshes, people. Unless you have an iconic swoosh, like the Nike swoosh, you should be avoiding swooshes. Swooshes do not mean anything to anyone. If I showed a random person this thing, they would be like, what's that? I don't know. What is it? It's not the Capital One logo, because they would never be able to recognize that. I bet 9 times out of 10, people would not say, oh, that's the Capital One logo. Swooshes are just too generic, and there's no association between this random mark and what Capital One is as a company and what they do. Now that we've talked about the atrocity of using a swoosh, let's look at just the word mark of Capital One. There's some big problems here. Starting off with the fact that we've shifted the baseline. Shifted baselines do not work. I don't think I can think of one example. Can't think of one example where I've seen a shifted baseline in a word mark and been like, oh yeah, that's cool. If you can think of an example of a shifted baseline that is a good word mark, go ahead and let me know. But typically, shifting your baseline down on one of the words just creates a stair-step effect, a really weird imbalance in the logo mark. So please just don't do that. Just keep all of your words on one line. It just contributes to making your word mark look really messy, like this one. The next problem with this word mark is that Capital One just decided to throw everything about font pairing out the window. They were like, well, let's just pair the worst fonts together. We're gonna pair a different type of font. We're gonna pair a different weight of font. And originally, they even paired different colors of font. They just decided they're going to do everything different. The fact that they're using a bold for capital and then a thin font for one means that this mark is basically Capital One. That's basically what it is. And the fact that they're using a geometric sans serif for capital and a serif, almost scripty-like font for one means that capital is seen as something strong and emphatic, geometric, and one is more dainty and elegant. So now we've just completely gone opposite moods. Now, if you want to learn more about font pairing, I do have an old video that I will link right up there about pairing different fonts. Still got some great rules in there about how to pair fonts, and one of the things that we talk about in that video is pairing moods. They have to have the same mood. These two fonts don't have the same mood. These fonts are contradicting each other. They're screaming totally opposite personalities about the brand. And lastly, we have one of my biggest pet peeves, italicized font. Why do we have an italicized font? In the 21st century, there is basically no reason that you should ever have an italicized font. And if you want to start an argument with me in the comments about italicized fonts, go ahead, I will voice my opinions. But at least in logo design, there's really no need for italicized fonts. Basically, the only time you need italicized font is if you're writing a research paper and you need to cite a book or something. But in traditional design work, italicized font was used to create emphasis because you had all of the same letter forms. But now we have bolds and lights, and we can use different colors colors, so we really don't need to use italicized type to create emphasis anymore. So there's really no good reason to use it in your logo either. Italicized font just looks sloppy, and it creates really weird things like the fact that this eye is an oval. Like, why is that an oval? Well, because it's italicized, and italicized fonts suck. So the bottom line is, or I guess the bottom two lines if you're Capital One, because they like to have two baselines, but the bottom two lines are the fact that this word mark is awful for a number of reasons, and this swoosh icon is also awful for a few reasons, so together, they just make awful, and awful makes awfuler. For the size of company that Capital One is, this logo is just completely unacceptable. So I'm gonna give this a 1.8 out of 10, and Capital One, you should reach out to me because we could create a great logo mark that speaks the value of your company. Thanks so much for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this, let me know by dropping me a comment and letting me know what logo I should critique next. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna go ahead and see you guys in the next video.